Lockery is the head coach of Chicago. His future is in doubt, and we'll tell you more about that. The lineup: Orlando Woolridge and David Greenwood in the front court, along with Dave Corzine at center, and in the back court, Michael Jordan and Wes Matthews, who's the point guard. For Don Nelson, who's won 50 or more games for 5 years in a row, Paul Pressey and Terry Cummings, the forwards. Alton Lister is the center, and it's Sidney Moncrief in the backcourt with Craig Hodges. The officials, Ed Rush and Joe Crawford, will work the game on the floor. Jim Capers will be the alternate. Milwaukee in white, Chicago in red, and every time they played, Milwaukee has done the same thing on the first attempt.
Get it to Alton Lister to try and develop the inside game quickly.
Now, they may use him as a decoy and go inside to someone else. Let's see what happens here. As Hodges controls, Matthews hits the deck. They wanted to go to Lister, but Chicago picked it up on the turnover, and they're running. Jordan gets inside and is fouled.
Getting that fast break game going for the Bulls is super important, Dick. Woolridge and Michael Jordan, when they have to play half-court offense, get double-teamed easily, and it takes the ball out of their hands. If they can get out in the open court early and get their game going, it's going to be a big lift for the Bulls.
Terry Cummings on the foul, and here he is, Michael Jordan, who led his team in free throw shooting. He's had an abscess tooth that he had to have worked on yesterday. It caused him a lack of sleep on Friday night. Other than that, he should be in fine form.
A bad tooth in the playoffs, all at the same time, that's tough.
Here's Chicago trapping now.
They want to be really aggressive on the defense and try and take Milwaukee out of their normal offensive rhythm. The Bucks had the answer Friday night, hitting a lot of outside shots.
They trap there. Moncrief going inside. He gets the basket. Sidney Moncrief, who started this way on Friday night against Orlando Woolridge, and he scored 30 points in the game. And here's the play.
They do not want Moncrief in the middle, the Bulls. They try to get to him, but not quite quick enough. The motto of Lockery, Kevin Lockery, was keep him out of the middle.
David Greenwood commits the foul, and here is Sidney Moncrief, who is the top three-throw shooter on the Bucks at 83%, a three-point play. Hodges is on Matthews, the two-point guard. Moncrief is guarding Michael Jordan, but he'll have help. Corzine coming out, and that's where he's most effective. Jordan is fouled. Moncrief was trying to gamble and deny the pass.
Little unusual situation here. They're putting Jordan down in the low post, something they didn't do on Friday night, just to get him the ball and to avoid the quick double team.
Michael Jordan.
Foul is on Alton Lister, and so Michael Jordan with his second trip to the free throw line. Kevin Lockery will tell you that the only weakness Jordan has is that he's not 7 feet tall.
Well, I think he has the best combination of physical talent and fundamental skills that I've ever seen come into the league.
Here's the Chicago trap. What's the idea here?
The Chicago trap is just to take them out of their normal offensive flow.
It worked there. Woolridge to Matthews, going in against Lister, and a foul. Alton Lister blocked the shot, but he got him with the body, and Ed Rush called the push against Lister, and that's his second personal foul.
Well, that's a big, hurtful thing for the Bucks, for Lister, who is their real own shot blocker at the center position. But the Bulls are getting that fast break going, which I think is going to be very, very important.
That's what you said, get Jordan and Woolridge in the open court, and that's what they have done. As Matthews hits the free throw, he's a well-traveled guard in his 5th year, and the last man cut from the Philadelphia 76ers, and he played for Kevin Lockery in Atlanta, and already Don Nelson is going to go to his bench. He's going to bring Randy Brewer in for Lister. 5-3, Chicago leading. A little more than a minute gone by as Craig Hodges hits outside. He is a tremendous outside shooter and was part of the Cummings deal.
That's how the Bucks beat the Bulls on Friday night, hitting those type of shots. And they have to do it today.
Hodges is guarding Matthews. Is really not an offensive threat. Corzine trying to post up against Lister, maybe get him into another foul. This is the shot. Cummings the rebound.
Corzine doesn't handle a double team that well.
Lister. And the foul is called against Michael Jordan, I believe, on Alton Lister, who's a big man who can move. Randy Brewer is going to be coming in, but since Lister's on the line, Brewer is just going to wait by the scorer's table. There is Randy Brewer, a 7'3" player. In fact, there are 3 7-footers on this Milwaukee team.
Well, he takes up an awful lot of room, Brewer, when he gets in there. That's why he'll be put in, but he's an improved player. Lister For him to go out at this early stage of the game is not going to help the Bucks' cause. They need his defense in there, that shot blocking and threat of shot blocking, very much.
He was 9th in the league in blocking shots. 1 of 2. Greenwood gets the rebound. Less than 2 minutes gone by in this opening period. Milwaukee won the opening game. Best of 5 here. Doubling Corzine. Traveling call against Chicago.
Well, they have a real problem even getting the ball to Corzine when Matthews is making the feed because they don't respect his outside shooting at all.
What will Brewer give him now?
Brewer is going to give him size in the middle and potentially some rebounding and has developed into not too bad an offensive player.
He's worked on the weights and is up to 240, and Todd Nelson says he'll get to 250 by next year. Cummings gets by Jordan. Terry Cummings, who is the leading scorer at over 23 and a half a game for Milwaukee. Jordan tried to gamble. It didn't work, and it's 8-5 Bucks. Feed inside. Jordan picked up by Brewer on a mismatch. Brewer got a hand on it. Got defense again for Milwaukee.
A good double team made him throw it away.
Turnover and a foul against Craig Hodges running into Wes Matthews, an offensive foul.
I tell you, the Bulls look much revived in this ball game defensively. They become very, very aggressive. That's what Lockery wanted them to do. That was his main complaint about Friday night's loss.
Every team has won at home. 3-3 in the regular season, 1-0 in the playoffs. Milwaukee's won 4 here at the arena. Chicago won all the games at Chicago Stadium. Orlando Woolridge gets the basket and will go to the line. They're going to need points from him.
He was very frustrated. One of those many people up front for the Bulls that couldn't seem to find their game Friday night, and they wanted to get him off early, and they feel if he can hit a jump shot, he gets his rhythm going.
So Corzine will go to the line. Basket by Woolridge, the foul on Pressey, so the foul away from the ball, and Dave Corzine hits the free throw. One of the few Chicago players who have had playoff experience. We're tied. Jordan is on Pressey. Good matchup. And Michael Jordan, who leads the Bulls in steals, knocks it away. And here comes Woolridge in the forecourt. Bulls can take the lead. Woolridge. Hodges the rebound. Moncrief is down court. Pressey. He's got long arms. Paul Pressey is much bigger than 6'5".
He sure is, but the Bucks will really push it at you when they feel they have a good opportunity. That time they ended up with a 3-on-2 situation, the best.
Here's David Greenwood with his first shot of the ball game. Greenwood missed all of camp and had Achilles problems. Had kind of an off year, but led the Bulls in rebounding in game number 1, and we have another tie. Jordan is all over Paul Pressey, and they're going to call the foul. Michael Jordan defending. So far, Milwaukee has not missed a shot from the field, yet the score is tied. Right here, Michael Jordan has chalked up his second personal foul.
Interesting defensive matchup, Jordan guarding Pressey. Normally a forward guards Pressey. And they want to keep quickness on Pressey and put him under a lot of pressure.
That's Pressey from outside, something he's improved on. Kevin Lockery said he treats Pressey as a guard, not a forward, although the term for him is point forward. He runs the club from a forward spot.
He's an offensive guard, defensive forward.
Jordan is fouled in the lane. If you double-team Michael Jordan, how does he come up with 40-point games like he does and terrific passes when everyone knows he's going to be the main man?
Well, he's got that great physical talent to leap over everybody else. And we're looking at Quentin Daly right now, who is a big, big factor for this ball club. He is instant offense. Him coming into the game right now might eliminate some of that pressure on Michael Jordan.
He scored 25 points to lead the Bulls, and he'll be shooting right from the very start. Wes Matthews goes out of the ball game. Jawan Oldham, who is a shot blocker, who the Bulls like to use when their trap defense is in progress. He's a 7-footer as well. Has also checked in, replacing Corzine.
They use a 1-3-1 trap, and Oldham is the shot blocker down underneath the basket. and they count on him to really intimidate.
So here comes the trap by Chicago in a 12-12 ball game. Now they seem to take it off. Jordan guarding Hodges. They're playing straight up right now. Brewer. He's developed that shot. Short baseline jumper, Randy Brewer from Minnesota.
He couldn't get a shot off last year. Now he's shooting the hookers.
Bucks by 2, 7:15 remaining. First period. Jordan, triple team. So the open man's got to hit the shot. Greenwood does.
That's what it takes to break the Milwaukee defense, and still they might not come out of it. They'd rather have Greenwood hitting jumpers or one of the other people than Jordan flying high for cramps.
Milwaukee shot 53% Friday night. They're perfect 6 for 6 from the field now. Yet the score is tied. Pressey makes it 7 for 7, and Don Nelson's club is shooting the lights out of the basket. A 16-14 game.
I'll tell you, they did that Friday night, the outside shot, finding the open man. A very well-coached team.
Jordan in the lane. Michael Jordan has 8 points in the ball game. And we have another tie. So it's Jordan against the world so far in the second playoff battle. Cummings. Greenwood played him well. Let's see if Chicago runs. Jordan goes around Cummings. Finds an open man traveling call against Quentin Daly. And coming into the ball game for Milwaukee, and we'll talk about him when we come back, is Paul McKeskey. But we have a tie game and a timeout. Here are the playoff scores from yesterday. Last night, San Antonio tied the series with Denver 41 for the Iceman, George Gervin. Portland evened the series with Dallas. Kiki Vandeweghe had 27. The Lakers are rolling over 140, 2 straight games. Magic had 19 points and 12 assists. And Larry Bird had 30 as Boston eked out another one over Cleveland for a 2-0 lead. Into the ball game is Paul McKeskey, who's become kind of a cult hero in Milwaukee, Tommy.
Well, he sure has. Here's a guy that you would look at and you'd say, if he can play, I can play, even at age 50. But he is a real fine, intelligent basketball player. That's very important because he can play 2 positions, power forward or center, and he's an excellent outside shooter.
And he can hit that baseline shot, which he did on Friday night. So it's one of the 3-headed centers that Don Nelson uses. He's got Lister, Brewer, and McKeskey. We've seen all 3 so far.
Well, they got points, the Bucks, out of their center position far more than the Bulls got on Friday night.
Yeah, they outscored him 26-14. Hodges for a 3-point attempt. Oldham gets the rebound, and Chicago can take the lead. We have under 6 minutes to play first period. Jordan, Moncrief now, and McKeskey doubles with him. The open man is Woolridge. They don't find him quick enough. Tipped in, no basket. Offensive goaltending called against Juwan Oldham.
Well, the Bulls knew what to do that time when Jordan got double, but they moved the ball much too slowly to catch the rotation.
So now the Bucks, who have missed just 1 shot, 7 of 8 from the field. Moncrief looking into Cummings. Baseline. They got to block him out.
Be there at the right time in the right place. That's Mokeski. Nelson said he's a very effective defensive rebounder. That time, offensively, made it happen.
He had 10 boards in game 1. Jordan in the crowd is fouled. He goes to the line a lot. He goes into that paint.
Very interesting what they're doing now, Dick. They're setting up a situation for Michael Jordan, a center pick, and making Mokeski or the other center come over and double Jordan, and Jordan ought to be able to dribble right through that.
You see that the Philadelphia 76ers, who have a 1-0 lead over the Washington Bullets, are underway at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. People are wondering which is the real Philadelphia ball club. They have been a puzzling team, and there are some questions on that team, and maybe some of them will be answered this afternoon. 1 out of 2 for Michael Jordan, who has 9 points in this first period. The trap. The 1-3-1 trap, first time we've seen it. Terry Cummings, in his 3rd year from DePaul, he's turned out to be an All-Pro. And Cummings now with 4 points in the ball game. Pressey with 6 leads the Bucks, who are up by 3.
I'll tell you, the Bucks really moved the ball beautifully that time to get an easy shot against that confusing defense.
They've been working for 5 days on the 1-3-1 trap. Greenwood got past McKeskey.
from Jordan.
That's a nice way to get your inside game going. Crams.
Milwaukee could not shake the Bulls Friday night no matter what happened, and Milwaukee shot well and throughout the game. They're doing it again. Terry Cummings used to be a post-up player exclusively, but no more, Tommy.
Well, Nelson took a look at him and said, hey, he can do more things than get in the paint. A very effective outside shooter and terrifically mobile, taking it to the hoop.
Winding down to 4 minutes to go first period. Quentin Daly in the lane. First basket for Daly.
Here is the question mark. Can we stop Quentin Daly, says Don Nelson.
Moncrief knocked away by Greenwood. Good play by Greenwood, and they're going to call the foul on Terry Cummings. The Bucks are in the penalty, but let's look at the Chicago trap.
Here's the 1-3-1 developing. You see the man in the middle. The Bucks get it down the sideline and then rotate it around. And you watch, you've got to beat somebody in close to the basket, and look how nicely they get it. They get the defense leaning one way, swing it quickly while it's vulnerable, get it inside for an easy one.
Daly will have 2 shots. As the Bucks in the penalty, the Chicago Bulls had only 3 players in double figures against Milwaukee in the first game.
Boy, this player is an instant offensive machine. When he gets the ball, you can't double him because he takes the shot before it develops. Very smart offensive player.
But he's been struggling in other ways, and he was suspended this year by Coach Kevin Lockery when he missed practice. Sidney Moncrief hitting outside.
Well, those outside shots really make you cringe because there's no stopping them when you're hitting from outside like that.
Everyone's hitting, inside and outside, judging by the shooting percentages. Less than 3.5 to go in the first period, and another Milwaukee foul. Going to send Orlando Woolridge to the free throw line, and it'll be the second on Terry Cummings. Don Nelson, a year ago, he thought of stepping down as coach. He knew he faced a long rebuilding year, but it didn't turn out that way, and he's loving this season.
I'll tell you, Don Nelson is a great basketball coach because he fits the system to the player instead of vice versa. Most coaches try and fit players into their system. He makes the system to adjust to the players.
2 free throws. There's Herbert Cole, who is the new owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. In fact, both teams have new owners. Jerry Reinsdorf with Chicago in midseason sale. Bulls by 1. That's dropped for Terry Cummings, who has 8 points to lead Chicago with 3:10 remaining in the first.
When you have to start going out on Cummings, Dick, to stop that outside shot, boy, does he make you pay. You go around anybody.
Wes Matthews back in the ball game. Michael Jordan getting a breather. So it's Daly and Matthews in the backcourt. Let's see what Chicago does without Jordan. Matthews goes in and gets nothing. Here comes Milwaukee, pressing. Throws it away. 2-on-1 for the Bulls. Woolridge. And Moncrief gets it to Pressey. Cummings inside. Oldham, the rebound. Stolen by Pressey. Cummings. Great defense by Chicago on Cummings inside twice in a row. Kevin Lockery's got to be happy with their inside defensive play.
Well, Oldham provides that defense for him. A great shot blocker and intimidator, and still learning. Now watch this Pressey just stick out there with those quick feet, pick up the ball, head in, and put the heat on the Bulls defense.
The Bucks by 1 with 2:21 remaining. Michael Jordan is back in the ball game along with Quentin Daly in the backcourt. Let's see how they defend Daly.
Michael Jordan.
Daly picked up and in. Credit the basket to David Greenwood, who has 8 points now and is right behind Jordan's 9 for the Bulls as Chicago takes the lead again with 2 minutes to go in the first period. McKeskey. Blocked by Jawan Oldham. Cummings keeps it for the Bucks. Ricky Pierce is in the ball game. In and out. Ricky Pierce, one of the 3 acquired from San Diego, but now the Bulls have the ball in a 1-point lead.
Oldham that time pulled it away for fear of throwing it, making a turnover. It slowed down the fast break for the Bulls.
Woolridge hits the the jump shot. He was 12th in the league in scoring and nearly 23 a game. He likes to shoot more than pass. Is that safe to say?
I would say that, but that time is the first time I've seen him shoot a jump shot in a balanced position.
Paul Pressey comes right back. 4 for 4 for Paul Pressey from the field, and his biggest asset is as a defensive player with the quickness Tommy talked about.
This is an interesting matchup. Cummings now, they're forcing him into the double team. Look at that, and takes the ball away from him.
Woolridge, turnaround. Cummings defending. Under a minute to go, first period. McKeskey.
That's my brother making the shot. That's how you feel. You look at him and say, why does he belong out there? I mean, he doesn't look like a player, but he sure is effective.
He developed a heck of a lot of confidence when he started going that route and hitting that shot. 10 on the shot clock, double team inside. Orlando Woolridge doesn't do it. Jawan Oldham misses a stuff. 25 seconds to go and 21 now on the shot clock, and they're going to clear it out for Michael Jordan. They can't double team him now.
Oh, yes, they can. Here it comes.
The open man is Oldham. Greenwood's going to go in. No basket. The foul was before the shot. And they're going to bring Wes Matthews in with 6 seconds to go.
It's pretty interesting in that double.
Terrific first period with 8 points in the ball game.
A couple of big rebounds, too.
30-30 to score. Here's Craig Hodges coming back in. Milwaukee went to the line a lot more. McKeskey goes out of the ball game. In game 1, Milwaukee went to the line. Look at this statistic.
Well, they're taking it to the hoop today, Chicago. But look at the lineup they have in there. No center. I wonder who's probably Moncrief will play center this trip up the court. Oh, press all over.
6 seconds to go. The turnover. Matthews inside. No basket. They'll call the offensive foul. 3 seconds remaining. Chicago had an opportunity there to raise their lead to 3.
Yeah, but Milwaukee had all their ball handlers in and shooters from outside. A nice move in the last couple of seconds. With all those good ball handlers, Chicago still stole the ball.
Charles Davis, who was acquired from the Bullets, will inbound the ball. Stolen by Daly. Fires it off. From midcourt. We had 6 ties and 9 different lead changes in the first period. The Chicago Bulls lead the Milwaukee Bucks 31-1 back to Chicago for 2 games. They feel they have a good chance of an upset.
No question about it, Dick, that this ball club, when they get their game going in Chicago with their fans for Michael Jordan, they've got a crowd there to spur them on.
Jordan with Davis guarding him. He's strong now. Picking up Quinn Daly. Daly is not as sharp from the outside as he was in game number 1, and now a loose ball foul called against Chicago. It's against Orlando Woolridge, his first. Milwaukee, Tommy, shot 67%. Chicago 47 in the first period, yet we have a close game.
Well, they're controlling the boards, I think, the Bulls.
Foul against Milwaukee. Loose ball. Coming into the ball game for Chicago is Steve Johnson, replacing David Greenwood. Now, Johnson had a cracked right thumb, and they didn't think he was going to play in the playoffs, and it bothered him a little bit in game number 1. Terry Cummings comes in again for Paul Pressey, who goes out with 8.
I'll tell you, Steve Johnson, that first man you referred to, was what appeared to be the only hope to develop an inside game, and they hope he'll be able to do that here today. That was where they really were weak in the first game.
He has played well against Milwaukee. Jawan Oldham double team going over Cummings. Get up. McKeskey the rebound. Chicago doesn't have that many offensive forces, do they?
Oh, Greenwood is not real good low post player, nor is Woolridge.
Cummings leaves it for Ricky Pierce. Cummings far from the corner. Charles Davis gets the rebound. Chicago is scrapping a lot better than they did in game 1. They're more opportunistic going after the loose ball. Quinn Daly is getting off to a slow start, however, in this game.
Yeah, but he's liable to hit 10 in a row. That's the kind of player he is.
1 for 6 right now. Terry Cummings with 10 points in the ball game.
That's his great asset. As big as he is, with as wide a body as he's got, he can put it on the floor and take it strong to the hoop.
Milwaukee by 1, early second period. Steve Johnson against McKeskey.
Should have been a foul there.
Moncrief against Daly. Here's McKeskey again. Chicago not blocking out. And Charles Davis.
You look at Charles Davis and you say, how does he do the rebounds like that? Just smart, intelligent, slipping in on the weak side.
Legends any better.
Number 45.
And they're rebounding well now.
The Bucks lineup.
But the Bulls have slowed down the fast-paced game a little bit. What a shot that was.
Well, that may be his first to 10 in a row that you're talking about.
He went over 3 people that time. A little guard like that, he doesn't even know people are around him.
Davis and Ricky Pierce are in the ball game, along with Cummings, Brewer, and McKeskey. So there's a big team in there for Milwaukee, 2 7-footers.
And there's a little matchup situation. Quinn Daly has Cummings underneath.
Pressing. Making Ricky Pierce with his quickness. You see why Don Nelson says he was the real sleeper of that trade with Los Angeles Clippers.
Tough defender, good rebounder, and excellent outside shooter, Ricky Pierce.
Woolridge. Not even close. Knocked out of bounds by Cummings. Chicago ball. Philadelphia and Washington are tied in the second period of their Eastern Conference first-round battle. The Sixers beat Washington in a tight game earlier in the week.
A little beef in that game going on, I'll tell you. Body against body, that's got to hurt that series.
Jordan, in the crowd, is pushed.
As soon as they see Jordan coming, the Bucks, they're sending 2 people at him, sometimes 3, forcing him to deliver the ball to somebody else. That time he got fouled, but he got it to his favorite target, Quentin Daly.
Randy Brewer commits the foul. That's his second and the second team foul against the Bucks. Under 9 minutes to go in the second period. Milwaukee leading 36-33. No team has had more than a 3-point lead in this game. 3-point attempts by Michael Jordan. And we have quickly a tie ball game. And Jordan has 12.
36.
Jordan led the Bulls in virtually every category. Cummings. And a short jump shot. Charles Davis and Jawan Oldham gets the rebound. That's number 5 for Oldham, who played his college ball at Seattle. Jordan. Good defense by Milwaukee, but Michael comes out with it.
Boy, when you have a 7'3" guy surrounding you on a double team, it kind of limits your vision to find an open man.
There's a drop for him. Chicago battling. Daly winds up with it over Brewer. And a push inside called against the Chicago Bulls.
But good fouls by Chicago. They're battling on the offensive board. No coach gets mad at that. He wants you being very aggressive on the offensive board.
David Greenwood checks into the ball game. He had 10 points. There you see Craig Hodges. Steve Johnson picked up the foul.
Steve Johnson, to me, it looks like he's out of shape.
He's been out of action a while. Pierce, open. Notice he'll only shoot from the left side. He does not shoot from the right side of the court. They kick it around. Chris Daly gets the layup, misses. Milwaukee ball.
No breaks for the Bulls there. They would have had a hoop that time. A couple of good offensive tips and a layup. Everything went wrong on that thrust.
They missed a few layups inside in game 1, didn't they?
That was the big reason they lost.
We're tied at 36. Cummings against Greenwood.
He leans over you. He's got great quickness to the shot. You know, he gets most of the people he play against him in a quickness matchup. He can out-quick them.
7 minutes to go, first half. Steve Johnson guarded by McKeskey. And he gets the roll. He's, as you mentioned, the only true post-up player that Kevin Lockery has, and they're going to need some points from him.
And Don Nelson said every time he gets the ball, he's going to really double him. It didn't get to him that time. It freed up his jump shot.
McKeskey's trying to set a screen outside. Now setting a low post screen. Ricky Pierce pushed, and now they'll call the foul on Chicago. It'll be their third team foul. A couple of people down on the floor, and we'll have a timeout here. No quarter given so far in this game between Chicago and Milwaukee.
I don't compete anymore.
Right time, but Kevin claims that he really wanted to play Philadelphia, so he said he just made a mistake.
Goaltending, credit the basket to Brewer. Goaltending against Juwan Oldham. Yesterday, Kevin did say that he wanted to rest his team and that Philadelphia was the team he wanted to play, but he was 3-3 against Milwaukee and didn't do that well against Philadelphia.
It was interpreted that way by the press, I believe, but that's what Kevin said. You got to take him at his word.
Absolutely. 6:15 to go. Johnson working around McKeskey. Did he take too many steps? Yes. Tell you, McKeskey is talk about the Beef Brothers. He could apply and gain membership.
Well, they got two real big guys in there now. McKeskey is a 7-footer, probably be about 7'4" if he straightened his shoulders out a little bit. And Brewer is absolutely a 7'3" man.
Would Chicago rather play a big team?
I think so, rather than the quick team. But they're using that press right now, the Bulls, that they didn't show too much in this game. That was supposed to be a big factor for Kevin Lockery's Bulls.
Woolridge comes in and Steve Johnson goes out, maybe having problems with his thumb, which was broken.
And Don Nelson is really super prepared against this 1-3-1 press defense of Kevin Lockery.
6 minutes to go first half. Milwaukee by 2. Greenwood playing well is up against Cummings. Turnover. Juwan Oldham gets it to Michael Jordan, who goes up. Foul. Basket count. And Michael Jordan made one of his patented plays. He has made a lot more spectacular ones, but that wasn't too bad.
Well, that's pretty spectacular in my book, Dick. I mean, there's a 7-foot man defending against him. But watch Oldham go out there. Their big guy picks it up. And look at the nice pass back to the middle. He takes the blow, Jordan, which is not easy for you to not to lose your balance when somebody hits you like that, and still makes the hoop. Hey, he's one tough cookie here.
2 fouls on Paul McKeskey and a 3-point play. As Sidney Moncrief checks back in the ball game, he has scored 5.
Well, it's back into man-to-man now. A little confusion, Kevin Lockery, when he's going to use that 1-3-1 or not, hoping to make the Bucks take precious seconds off the clock.
He hasn't used it all that much, has he?
No, he hasn't. Maybe he's a little gimmick to confuse Don Nelson at halftime.
5.5 to play. Bulls by 1. Cummings misses. Jordan. Boy, he's in the air. He knows who to find. Oldham, however, lost the ball to the Bucks. Moncrief all the way.
Who doesn't fast break off steals? I don't think anybody in the NBA, but the Bucks really just wait for the opportunities like that to turn their speed loose.
They've been in the playoffs 13 times in their 17-year history. Woolridge missing outside. Brewer gets the rebound. You know what Woolridge is going to do apparently every time he gets the ball. Moncrief again. He's getting hot. Sidney Moncrief.
I'll tell you, Woolridge to me is slapping his hands, is getting mad at himself, is really defeating the purpose of him even being out in the crowd. He's getting so frustrated.
Jordan with a screen from Oldham hits again, and Michael Jordan has 17 points. He had 19 in the first half on Friday night.
And Jordan just patted the much experienced player Woolridge on the butt and says, "Take it easy, pal. We believe in you."
I guess he's a leader as a rookie.
Pretty good stuff for a rookie. You're right.
Moncrief again. And the foul. Sooner or later, Sidney Moncrief's going to go to work, huh?
Well, they're not keeping him out of the middle as effectively as they wanted to. Mainly because there's a forward ending up having to play him, and he can give a little fake and turn that speed loose to take it to the hoop.
David Greenwood now has 3 personal fouls. He is the only player on either side with 3. He remains in the ball game. He has scored 10 points, all in the first period.
You know, he is a defensive guard and offensive forward, Moncrief. They count on his rebounding so much. That's what allows that stuff to happen, to flip-flop people, use one as a guard offensively, the other one as a forward defensively, and it's very effective. Pressey is effective defensively as a forward because he's much stronger than Moncrief on the board physically and got the longer arm.
Similar to what the Lakers do with Cooper and McGee.
Right, and Pressey's a little bit better ball handler than Moncrief.
Craig Hodges nearly got that ball away from Michael Jordan. We have 4:10 remaining in the first period and 18 seconds for Chicago to get the shot off. 46-43 Milwaukee. And Moncrief, who's been the top defensive player the last 2 years, pesky is all get out.
Well, even he, as good as he is, Moncrief, can't stop Jordan one-on-one. He needs a lot of help.
Hodges may need help against Daly. They go into Corzine, who's come back in the game. Corzine hits the jumper, and it's a one-point game again. Corzine with 3 points.
He was out of his element last Friday night. Tonight he's calmed down a little bit.
Pressey going baseline. Corzine defending, but Pressey goes right through. 5 for 5 for Paul Pressey, who was drafted as a guard out of Tulsa and is the point forward. Daly crashing the board. Daly again. Loose ball foul.
Daly may be missing, but he is absolutely taking the right shots. Taking it strong to the hoop, going up over people. Reminds me a little bit of Bernard King. He gets up so quick and shoots it so quick. Here's Pressey, little pick by Brewer that shakes the man loose, and the reason that he wasn't cut off is the lack of mobility by Corzine.
Alton Lister picked up the third personal foul. Johnson blocked by Brewer. They're going to have a jump ball. Randy Brewer.
Nothing like having a 7'3" guy that can block a shot without leaving the floor. Watch this. They make a nice pass inside to Steve Johnson, but there's Brewer just standing there with the hands up.
Tip control by Brewer, but Michael Jordan shows a little of that Air Jordan talent that we have seen. And the Bucks lead is 1. Winding down, as you see, the time remaining in the first half. Pressey outside. Only one outside. He's being guarded by Daly. 9 on the shot clock. 3-point attempt by Moncrief. He's got 9 this period, 14 in the game, and the biggest lead for either side right now. Milwaukee with a 4-point lead. Jordan cuts it to head.
Well, that time nobody jumped at Jordan. When he get his shooting hand open, boy, he's tough.
Pressey finds Hodges, 3-point attempt. Here comes Woolridge. He's got Jordan, but Woolridge is going to take it himself. And now Chicago has tied it up again.
That's his game. Get out on the fast break and get up sky. Another high flyer here for the Bulls.
You said it at the top that Jordan and Woolridge have to get in the open court, something they couldn't do in game 1. And right now they're in a tie with 2:10 remaining in the first half. Brewer goes in against Corzine, and the foul against Corzine. Basket is good.
You know, last year, Randy Brewer was so skinny, Dick, that anybody bumped him, he knocked himself off stride 2 steps. But here's Woolridge on a wide open move, and when he's out there with his great speed, he reminds me of James Worthy. I'll tell you something, Dick. If you were to tell me to jump now, I would jump. How's that?
Who does he remind you? We were watching practice yesterday. Randy Brewer looks a lot like Ed McCauley, doesn't he?
The old Celtic from way back, the Hall of Famer, a 7'3" edition of Easy Ed McCauley.
Milwaukee maintaining possession after the missed free throw. Paul Pressey from outside. He has 12. Cummings has 12. Moncrief leads with 14. Pressey has not missed from the field in 6 tries.
I tell you, that is one area that really surprised me about Paul Pressey, that outside shooting. He really improved in that department.
Hey, Milwaukee has had 2 solid games so far of outstanding shooting, and yet they've been a battle both games. Woolridge in the lane. And And the foul, Orlando Woolridge will go to the line. That's the 15th foul anyway against Milwaukee. The season 9.9. And here's Woolridge.
In the last ball game, all the Bulls big people were in foul trouble. Corzine had to sit down. Oldham, they were forced to even use Caldwell Jones the latter stages of the game. They haven't used him in all part this season.
Steve Johnson gets the rebound. So Woolridge missed both free throws. Johnson tried to go in, and Moncrief comes back. He's sweating this one out.
I'll tell you, this kid right there, Dwan Oldham, is really playing one of the games of his lifetime in the pros. He's banging on the boards.
4-point lead for the Bucks. Moncrief threw it up one-handed. No traveling call against the Milwaukee Bucks in Chicago with 1:07 remaining in the first half. Trying to come back. Michael Jordan has scored 21 points. He has 5 assists and has figured in 31 of Chicago's 51 points. They double him. Matthews is open.
He's a proven-to-me player, Wes Matthews. Nelson's going to let him shoot all night long. He throws knuckleball.
Randy Brewer. Points for Randy Brewer off the bench as they filled the lane beautifully.
I'll tell you, I bet you up in Minnesota they never knew that he could get up on a fast break that fast.
Biggest lead for Milwaukee, and now a foul on McKeskey reaching in. It places Paul.
I tell you, the big people of the Bulls have been very, very aggressive on the boards. They're banging, getting very physical. And I just don't think, and they've got more big players, the Bulls, than the Bucks.
How are they staying close, despite the fact that I think Milwaukee looks to be the superior team?
They're just doing it on the boards. They've made some real fundamental mistakes, the Bulls. Otherwise, they might have been ahead in this game.
Down by 4 with half a minute remaining. Trapped his defense. We haven't seen it too much.
There's the 1-3-1, boy. Now they got Milwaukee thinking a little bit. That's the reason they're doing it.
They go to Cummings. Nearly lost it out of bounds. 15 seconds. Moncrief for 3. Moncrief inside. And you would have seen the roof raised here if that ball had dropped through.
I'll tell you.
Jordan and Moncrief. Comparison in the backcourt. Both All-Stars. Jordan was the starter for the Eastern Conference in his rookie year this season.
When I went to scout Larry Bird one time when I was still coaching for the Celtics, he didn't play, he was sick. And the guy came back ready to Red Auerbach about this guy. And we really hadn't heard a lot about him, but we have since he become a pro.
He has 11 points this period. Chicago with 5 seconds to go. Michael Jordan passes it off. 2 seconds. Daly doesn't go, and that would have been a three-pointer. That's the end of the half. Chicago's in the game. Milwaukee leading 59-53. And we'll return with Pat O'Brien after half coming right up. Start of the third period, Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn. Inbounding will be Michael Jordan, 59-53 the score, which matches the biggest lead of the game that the Bucks have. Jordan in the backcourt, along with Wes Matthews, number 1. Orlando Woolridge up front with David Greenwood, Dave Corzine the center. Greenwood misses the shot.
You count on a guy like Greenwood hitting those kind of shots.
Milwaukee has Hodges wide open. Corzine keeps it in the air to Jordan, and Jordan is fouled by Craig Hodges. Woolridge also hits the deck. Moncrief with 16 leading Milwaukee. Jordan had 21 points and 6 assists to lead Chicago. Hodges is defending against Matthews. Moncrief on Jordan. Lister on Corzine. Pressy's on Greenwood, and Cummings on Woolridge, who goes to the hoop nicely.
Well, they try to isolate Woolridge one-on-one, and it worked that time on one side of the floor. Good move to get by Cummings.
Key defensive matchup for Chicago here. Pressy on the alley-oop. What control? We'll get that answer in a second, but that was great hand control by Paul Pressy.
Well, he's a leaper, and out-leaping Jordan takes some kind of real leaping. That was Moncrief out-guarding Jordan.
Well, give and take.
Well, they must have gone into halftime and said, let's get some alley-oops in this half. Huh? Both teams.
Woolridge at that time, 61 to 57. How has the Woolridge and Moncrief matchup worked in this game?
Well, I don't think it's really worked that well because Moncrief has still been able to get to the middle, and that's what they were trying to do is keep him out of the middle.
4 seconds on the shot clock, and Cressy is fouled by Wes Matthews. But here is the alley-oop story in the first minute of the second half.
Well, you watch Jordan now come leaning out. He's going to try and beat him to the play, and Cressy makes a nice reverse cut. Jordan gave up a little bit, kind of could have gone up and made it a tougher shot. And here's the other way, Woolridge, who is also a high flyer, and he needs some baskets like that, Woolridge, the spectacular version, just to get his spirits up into this game.
Cressy takes the first free throw. Matthews with his second foul. Lakers are rolling in the Western Conference. Utah with a surprise over Houston the other night. That may be the big surprise so far. Looks like Dallas and Portland is going to go down to the wire in that series.
Well, we saw how good Portland was coming on against the Lakers that weekend, the last game of the regular season that we did, and they look like they haven't missed a beat.
Paul Cressy now with Moncrief, 16 points to lead the Bucks. The 6-point lead, that's what they had at halftime. Minute and 45 going by here in the
look at Moncrief trying to send him back into the middle to get double teamed.
Greenwood back to Corzine.
Oh, it took forever to Corzine to get that shot off, though. Any kind of rotation, he would have gotten fouled or might have knocked out of bounds. That's the trouble with Corzine. He's a little bit too slow.
He was originally with the Bullets and the Spurs later on and was in the playoffs with both of those teams. So he's a good luck charm. It's 63 to 59. Cummings working against Greenwood. And Michael Jordan will try to bring Chicago to within 2 points here. Jordan against Moncrief. Corzine, that's where he's comfortable outside.
That would be where Corzine would be playing for a fast breaking team all the time. He's coming up fifth man, letting fly those outside shots like Lambeer of the Pistons.
Cressy working on a Cummings screen, fires it, and an offense loose ball foul against Chicago.
Corzine doesn't jump, baby, but he sure knows how to move people out from underneath.
Timeout, second foul on Corzine. Early here in the third period.
But Nelson really made a big gamble this year, as his assistants.
Mike Schuler and Gary St.
Well, what Nelson has done, Dick, is really gamble with speed. And he was kind of forced to because Cressy was the only small forward he had.
Moncrief inside. Lister will go to the line. Lister's playing with 4 fouls, but that's not hindering his aggressiveness on the offensive glass.
Well, you don't let that bother you on the offensive glass. A lot of college players, when they pick up 4, they give up everything. They stop going on the boards, and they stop being aggressive, taking shots. You got to learn in the pros like Lister did just then. That was one of his problems when he first came into the league, to adjust, to continue to be aggressive, and not commit fouls.
Corzine's third foul. You know, of course, that the Milwaukee Bucks had a lot of changes, not only that trade, but Bob Lanier retired this year, so 4 familiar faces left the ball club.
I think Lister, Dick, is kind of the key for this whole series, how well he goes. If he can get 15 points or better, I think the Bucks are going to win.
The center story is going to tell it all for the Bucks in every series they play. Can their 3 centers overcome some of the big ones they're going to be facing if they get by Chicago?
Exactly right.
64-61, Chicago down by 3. Michael Jordan. Corzine gets the rebound, and a loose ball foul called against Chicago. Corzine can't believe it.
No, his mistake.
Yeah, he said, Joe Crawford said, my mistake. Corzine was about ready to...
Corzine can get mad, Dick. I'd hate to see him get mad today. Tackled somebody the other night because he was frustrated. Yeah, that's pretty good tackle, too.
Only because they're both from DePaul was he able to do that. Woolridge hits the jump shot.
Well, he's a happy guy hitting that shot, but he was under control and imbalanced. I think that's his main problem, Woolridge. He throws himself off balance too much.
Hodges committed that foul, his 4th. Cressy off balance. Lister crashing the board. And a loose ball foul against the Chicago Bulls. And Don Nelson must have said to Lister, look, you've got 4 fouls, but you better go in and do some damage inside.
Well, he's doing it against Corzine, who really can't jump. Corzine tries to move him out, but he can't get there quite quick enough with that real slow foot speed. So Lister has the advantage inside.
Foul is on Matthews as Jawan Oldham comes into the ball game, and Corzine goes out.
That's why he went out.
And now McKeskey comes in. Why is McKeskey in there at the same time?
They want to take, when Oldham's in there, they know he's a shot blocker, and they say McKeskey can hit the outside shot, and we'll go to him and hope to draw Oldham out of there.
Ray Hodges, the three. Moncrief at the other end, and a foul against Milwaukee, pushing off. Against Sidney Moncrief, his second.
The outside shots now not kind of falling for a while. They were red hot from downtown here. And they need to do that, the Bucks, in order to beat this team, I think.
Yeah, but sooner or later, those shots are not going to fall. You can't say I'm going to shoot 53% outside every game.
You kept saying that the other night, and they kept hitting them.
That's right. Maybe they can.
I'm not going to say they can't do it for a whole game.
4 minutes gone by in the period. Oldham, and a great bounce pass from Michael Jordan made it happen.
And good hands by Oldham, and he made the shot instead of the cram. He missed the cram earlier, so a little thinking that time by Oldham.
And Chicago's regained the lead, 65-64. Cummings is fouled by Wes Matthews going in. And we were talking about the outside shooting. The Bucks, who have been terrific from the field, 1 for 10 this period.
And mostly again from the outside. So if the Bulls can do a fair amount of rebounding on some of those misses, particularly the long shots, perhaps they'll start their fast break further up the court.
Cummings ties it up and now can put Milwaukee in front.
This kid amazes me. He has a heart problem, arrhythmia, and Don Nelson says he is a competitor, and they were concerned of whether he'd really be able to totally play the whole season, and he hasn't inside.
Milwaukee by 1. 7.5 to play. Third period. Jordan all the way in. Woolridge. Greenwood follows up, and David Greenwood with 12 points. That's his first basket since the first period. And now Don Nelson had to be restrained by Mike Schuler, his assistant coach. And a technical foul has been called against Nelly. He starts out looking natty, and then, of course, the button goes, the tie gets loose, the jacket comes off.
I know the feeling, Dick.
Jordan hits the technical foul. Yeah. Here's why.
Nelson said sometime as the last player. I'll tell you, he throws nice fits, doesn't he? Look at this. Great elbow. That should bring a technical foul in itself. You can't throw the elbows in this league. Players are coaching.
You would have liked to when you coached, I guess, a few times.
Oh, my God.
Chicago foul. Woolridge commits the foul. Let's bring you up to date here, where it's the Milwaukee Arena sellout for Game 2 of the best of 5 between the Chicago Bulls and the Milwaukee Bucks, who are the favorites. But Chicago is battling Milwaukee again, as they did in Game 1, leading 68-66. Kevin Lockery's Bulls trying to pull an upset as Moncrief goes to the line. Dick Stockton, Tommy Heinsohn here with NBA playoff action.
You notice Lockery with the smile on his face, not being too mad. You know, saying to him in a nice, easy tone, watch this or watch that on Michael Jordan.
Ed Rush is telling Kevin Lockery, you better sit down. You'll get one, too. Moncrief has 18, Tommy.
He was really just trying to prove to the referee that he's a nice guy, Kevin.
Everyone knows that. 68 all. We've had 10 ties. Matthews from the corner, short. Oldham there. And Cummings gets the rebound. Open court for a power forward. Pretty good. Steele. 3-on-2 Chicago. And Matthews gets the basket and a foul. And the Chicago Bulls have a lead of 2 and have really come out steaming here and controlled this early part of this third period.
Well, fast break against fast break, but here is some good defense going on underneath. And they pick it away, and up comes the big guy, Woolridge, but he lays it nice to Matthews, who really had to control himself. The old, and Kevin may be a victim of that, but he feels that his assistant coaches have been put under the gun. They don't have another year on their contract, and he's very concerned about their futures.
This free throw Nevertheless, Chicago's outscored Milwaukee 17-9 here in the third period, and the trap defense is in progress here. Hodges has 5 personal fouls. Here's Ricky Pierce with a jump shot.
The Daly-Pierce matchup, the 6th man in the backcourt, it's been more productive, I think, for the Bucks than it has been for the Bulls.
Well, Quentin Daly's going to come in, so Pierce is going to get that test in a moment. Out of bounds, still Chicago ball. And here is Quentin Daly, who has not been as sharp as he was in game number 1. Matthews goes out. Daly with 6 comes in. He is 2 for 11 from the field.
But don't bet he'll be 2 for a lot more. He's going to start hitting Daly. He's that kind of shooter.
Chicago's really out shooting Milwaukee by a wide margin this period. Goes over to Milwaukee in a 70-70 tie.
I'll tell you, this is a real tough, typical, great playoff game.
And you've been around long enough to see them.
I mean, they're throwing haymakers at each other right now.
Moncrief is fouled by Michael Jordan, blocking foul on Jordan, his 3rd.
Number 23, Michael Jordan.
There you see him coming up against the press. You've got to get the ball down someplace and then rotate to the weak side if possible. And there's the open man, but Matthews used his quick feet to force Pierce to take the shot where he don't normally like to take it, but he made it anyway.
Moncrief has been perfect from the free throw line at 83% on the year.
Man of that 1-3-1 defense is the guy that you got to try and attack in some way, either for a layup or an outside shot. And that's why Pierce is in this ball game. He can shoot that shot from dead in the corner.
Milwaukee by 2. Here's some full court, 3-quarter pressure of their own.
The Venus fly trap defense, the Bucks. They invite you in, put the trap on you, and then chew you up, baby.
Greenwood did not get a good pass from Woolridge, and Pierce fouled him. That is the 15th foul against Milwaukee, so that'll be a 2-shot situation. Talking about the Chicago trap, when we've seen the New York Knicks last year against Boston, if you have enough time to work against the trap, you should be able to beat it. So why isn't Milwaukee doing a lot better against it?
Well, they haven't used it that much today, Dick. As much as we were led to believe that they were going to buy Kevin Lockery. They've been very selective with it. But Don Nelson has spent an awful lot of time preparing to beat it. So maybe Kevin felt today that he could catch Nelson unawares by using a lot of man-to-man defense.
We have another tie at 72. That's the 12th tie of the ball game. 5.5 to go in the third period. Biggest lead of the ball game was Milwaukee with a 6-point lead on a couple of occasions. McKeskey looked like he was tied up. No whistle, and here come the Bulls. Woolridge travels with it.
Oh, Woolridge has a big problem of not turning the ball loose and then catching it and laying it back up. He should turn it off to one of those guards. It'll help his game immeasurably.
Pressey outside, Jordan guarding him. Daly is on Pierce. Pierce gets free. Blocked from behind by Greenwood. McKeskey is fouled.
I'm going to tell you, that Juan Oldham hung up there. He almost was wearing the basket like a halo. You know, he was going to see some great defense coming up. Look at that pick set there. I mean, Cummings sets a pick. Nobody moved. Greenwood never even helped out. But now, underneath, Oldham, as McKeskey gets the ball. Well, we missed him being an angel with the halo.
You know, if you project the block shots per 48 minutes, Jawan Oldham was second to Mark Eaton of Utah this year.
I'll tell you, he is a great athlete for a man his size, 7 feet. He's got the speed and quickness of a much smaller man, and I think it's just a matter of time before he arrives big in the NBA.
Chicago trying to tie the game again. They got Greenwood over Pierce. He had an advantage on Ricky Pierce, and Jordan found it.
Well, that's one of the matchups that they didn't use a lot Saturday night or Friday night. The low post, Greenwood against a smaller player.
Moncrief. Jordan, no one's going to match him when he goes up. Here he comes, Michael Jordan on the fly. Try to get it to Greenwood and McKeskey. And now they're going to call a foul against Chicago.
I think that could have gone the other way. Oldham is incredulous.
Looked like McKeskey with the elbow to
Sure
me.
did to me, too, Dick.
Kevin doesn't believe it.
Here we're going to see Jordan. He makes a poor pass, really, to Greenwood. And watch now Milwaukee come out with the elbow.
Oh, yeah.
But Eddie Rush was out of position, got caught behind the play. And here's Kevin, who is not exactly a total nice guy now. Here it is from another angle. And look at him just bang into Oldham.
I still haven't seen a Chicago foul.
Yep. But Milwaukee at the line. And look at Kevin.
That's life in the NBA.
Kevin.
Look at him. Look at Kevin.
Chewing his gum a little harder now.
2 free throws. Breaks the tie again. Boy, the Bulls 3-3 in the regular season with the Bucks. Trailing 1-0 in games. Best of 5. Trying to get a split going to Chicago for 2. Michael Jordan coming to the rebound. Wide open is Pierce. He should make that one, shouldn't he?
He should have.
Jordan, 2-on-1, all the way. Oh!
A big emotional play for the Bulls to get that rebound out quickly and then get Jordan and Woolridge both in action on the break.
That's his first field goal this half. Keep in mind, he was held without a basket in the second half in game number 1. Here's Pierce working inside, leaving Pressey open at the short. Pressey gets to the rebound.
That outside shooting is now eluding them a little bit.
Pressey goes low to McKeskey. And the foul is on Juwan Oldham before the shot. Alton Lister with 4 personal fouls comes back in the ball game for Milwaukee.
Here we're going to see Jordan, and this is the type of thing that the Bulls need right now. A little emotional lift. And nothing does it like a Jordan Scott.
Caldwell Jones makes his first appearance. He's the elder statesman of the Bulls at 34. 12 years in the league, a role player, a very quiet, solid defensive man.
Well, he's good defense and very smart, but he's not exactly an offensive player, and that's what they perhaps need down in that low post. But the other night he came in and hit a jumper from about 18 feet, so maybe he says, I'm going to help him a little offensively today.
McKeskey, perfect from the line, has 10 points, and those Milwaukee centers are really outscoring Chicago's pivot men once again. 10 for McKeskey, 8 for Brewer, even though Lister has only 2. 3 minutes to go in the third period. Woolridge gets inside. And they call the offensive foul against Orlando Woolridge.
They had a mismatch. Pressey, a much smaller player, and there he tries to hook him and go around him. He could have gone right up and taken a jump shot without all that whoop-de-doo stuff.
Timeout here in Milwaukee.
The Bucks have to really get this defense to see if it's a man-to-man, 1-3-1, and then come up with the appropriate offense, and it's been outside shooting more often than not.
Pressey.
Except there. And that is better than outside shooting.
18 points for Paul Pressey. Moncrief with 20 leads Milwaukee. Michael Jordan has 24 to lead Chicago. Lister with 4 fouls, trapping with Jordan. And here's Caldwell Jones. Yeah, I remember a game a few years ago when Caldwell Jones, playing for Philadelphia, really burned Milwaukee with several outside shots in a playoff
Well,
game.
you have to have nerves in the playoffs, and Caldwell's been there, and he's willing to take that outside shot, and maybe he'll be a hero in this game.
Ricky Pierce hits, and he had Quentin Daly in his face, too. Pierce,
Wrong player, that Pierce is.
originally a top draft choice from Detroit. Less than 2 minutes to go in the third. Greenwood's had a fine game. 16 in the ball game. Forced Daly inside to Woolridge.
I tell you, the Bulls aren't getting any breaks here.
Milwaukee pushing it up. Woolridge slow getting back. And Pierce is fouled by Caldwell Jones.
Well, Kevin's palms are up.
Help on the side.
Got a shot in the mustache. They're going to shave it off. Wife wouldn't like that. Is he married?
sure. I'll have to check it out now that you asked.
Boy, oh boy. This thing is going back and forth and back and forth. Nobody can establish a real advantage in this game.
Milwaukee's made its last 15 free throws. Jones. Woolridge now. Short. Lister the rebound. Boy, Lister's a tiger. 84-80. Milwaukee leading. Bad pass. Woolridge. And Lister wasn't going to have any part of Woolridge and pick up a 5th foul on that play.
Very smart play, but Woolridge made the steal originally, and Jordan will give it to him. Once Woolridge got out there, that's what he should be doing. Get out fast and stop fooling around with the ball.
84-82, less than a minute to go. Ricky Pierce. And Greenwood is hit. Loose ball against Milwaukee. And the Chicago Bulls can top.
Blow, baby. He's been playing a lot of tough ball. And his leaping has been combined to jumping up over the double teams more often than not.
24 points. Steve Johnson for Chicago and Craig Hodges coming in. So Woolridge is going to get a breather. So Chicago is going to play the next couple of minutes. We'll see whether they start the 4th period without Jordan and Woolridge.
That's a big thing, Dick. Gambling that Daly is going to be able to carry him, while Steve Johnson on the inside. Both of them haven't gotten their game together yet in this ball game.
Moncrief is on the bench for Milwaukee. Pressey and Hodges and Ricky Pierce, along with Cummings and Lister. 7 on the shot clock.
Has that illegal defense offense.
And Chicago comes down with it. Steve Johnson gets it away, and now the Bulls will try to take the lead.
Nelson likes to use the illegal defense rule to create offensive situations to take everybody away defensively to support defense.
Daly going to the hoop against Ricky Pierce, blocked from behind by Hodges. Chicago ball. That was a quick double. 14 seconds, 6 on the shot clock. Daly to Caldwell Jones. Jones hits again. 2 big baskets from outside. Gives Chicago the lead. Caldwell Jones again. Hodges goes in. And a goaltending call with 4 seconds to go puts Milwaukee in front. What a game this is. Chicago and Milwaukee separated by not that many miles on Interstate 94. Traveling. Quentin Daly took steps, and Milwaukee has 3 shoulder. Lister. It counts, and Milwaukee gets the last basket. And that's the end of the 3rd period with the score. Milwaukee 88, Chicago 85. And we'll return after this word from your local station. Michael Jordan and Sidney Moncrief, no surprise in any area. But Kevin Lockery had a lot to say to Ed Rush during that break.
I don't really know what it was about, to tell you the truth, but I think it was like maybe holding the ball out of bounds so that they couldn't get the play or get a playoff. But really don't know what it was about. Right now, I'll tell you this, that that shot that was made by Lister at the end of the quarter is the type of thing that really helps the ball club pick themselves up for a 4th quarter. It was almost a given. The Bulls almost gave one away that time.
Going for 3 is Craig Hodges, and Caldwell Jones gets the rebound. He's got a lot of experience, this Caldwell Jones. Michael Jordan with the ball has scored only 3 points in the 2nd half.
And they've got Jordan playing the forward spot. They're going with 3 small people, these Bulls. They've changed their lineup a little bit.
Matthews, Daly, and Jordan, along with Steve Johnson and Caldwell Jones. 3 on the shot clock. Daly was fouled going up, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
No reason why he can't play there. He's plenty strong enough on the boards. But that means that Matthews is going to be a guy that the Bucks will leave open more often than not, as they've been shadowing Daly on all these traps. They've been keeping a man rooted in his jersey so that he couldn't get the ball. So that's part of his offensive problem.
All right, so they're doubling Daly and Jordan. That means Matthews is going to have to hit the shot.
And he's got to do it, or they're in trouble.
Cummings with 4 personal fouls, and Milwaukee's lead is 1. First game was won by the Bucks, 109-100, but it was in doubt the last minute and a half of the ball game, and maybe even less than that. Pressey working down the middle. Hodges is open. Hodges in his 5th year.
You don't hear his name mentioned too often, Dick, but he makes key shots for this club. He's their prove-it-to-me player. Most teams will say, Craig, prove it to me, and he does.
Matthews cutting in without the ball, and Chicago still has it. Well, you know, one of the problems Milwaukee has had in past playoffs was all of a sudden their outside shooting just stopped. Winters and Bridgman in various years, and I think that Nelly really loaded up on a lot of good outside
shooting.
He's
got some real good outside shooters, and this kid here for the Bulls, if he could hit a shot, would help the Bulls an awful lot.
Matthews goes in, unmolested with a layup.
Now they're leaving him so alone, they're letting him drive through.
I don't think that's the plan.
That's not too much respect, I'm telling you, that the Bucks are showing to that man, Matthews.
Double on Lister, Pressey open. Cummings, one play. He was surrounded by 3 Chicago Bulls, and Cummings came out of the pack with the ball and got the shot as well. He has 16 in the game. Jordan, what a reverse turnover, but he lost the ball. Good crossover dribble, but he lost it inside.
Whatever direction he's headed in, they want to make him change up to the other side for the crossover and hope that he'll lose the ball a little bit.
Kevin Lockery told us yesterday Michael Jordan was dead tired in the second half of Game 1. You think it's the same story here?
Could be.
Goaltending. Credit the basket to Wes Matthews.
Wide open most of the evening. Tonight they're on him.
95-91. Milwaukee. They have won 17 in a row here at the Milwaukee Arena. Jordan. Matthews now. Cummings mismatched somewhere else. Moncrief is on Daly. Greenwood. Basket counts at the 24-second mark, and Greenwood, who averaged 6 points in the regular season, has 19 in the ball game. So he's given Kevin Lockery some important offense here.
And that was a big hoop because the 24-second clock was about to go down.
95-93, Pressey, Hodges inside, steal by Michael Jordan. He led his club in steals, and now Chicago can tie it. Game for Michael Jordan. 26 points, 5 in the second half.
And Michael's picking up the peat now. This is the time you expect the superstar to really rise to the occasion.
15 ties in this game, and it's been a fast-paced game. Greenwood on Cummings. Doesn't matter, does it? Who guards it?
As big as he is, when he goes up, he's in perfect balance for that jump shot, as opposed to Woolrich, who drifts right, left, forward, backward. What a great player, Cummings.
Under 8 minutes to go. Cummings with 21. Jordan trying to get it inside to Clinton Daly. They lost the ball.
Every time he gets away from one double, he comes into another double. Well, watch that. Where was the foul on that one? I mean, somebody bumped him off his path.
The 3-guard offense by Chicago is out of the game as Woolridge replaces Wes Matthews. Woolridge had a lot of rest. He scored 18 in the ball game. But Milwaukee leading 97-95 is Pressey. Perfect from outside.
Well, Jordan was down low trying to protect against Pressey's drive. Gave him all the time in the world to just raise up and let that jumper fly.
Bucks by 4. Daly penetrated. 2 for 14 is Daly, and Hodges at the other end.
He'll have to take the load, and he's had an off day.
What about Woolridge, too?
Well,
he's fresh.
Woolridge is fresh, but I think they'll go to Daly a little bit more.
Okay, Woolridge is trying to post up Terry Cummings, who has 4 fouls. Daly to the right in the lane is short. Loose ball. Chicago's Matthews comes up with it. So you were right. Daly's the man.
He's your offensive force in there.
It's a lot of time on the clock. Greenwood missing. And Woolridge gets the loose ball. Good hustle by Chicago here. Long rebounds, and the Bulls are picking them off. Woolridge, long shot, hits Orlando.
When he's in balance, shoulders facing the basket, he can shoot the jumper. as well as anybody in the league.
20 points for Orlando Woolridge, who's cousin of Willis Reed, former NBA star with New York. Trapping defense by Chicago with Caldwell Jones, the safety man back there. Into Cummings against Caldwell Jones.
Caldwell Jones, an excellent low post defender, and still Cummings scores. Good fake that time on the experienced Jones. Just made him move a half an inch.
23 for Cummings. He's the leading scorer. Matthews goes in and will go to the line to shoot two. Craig Hodges committing the foul, and that may be 6 on Hodges. There's Michael Jordan, who had a short rest, coming back in, and Craig Hodges has fouled out of the ball game for the Milwaukee Bucks. He scored 8 points. Jordan coming in, replacing Daly.
That's kind of a surprise. Daly sitting down because they had some great success with Daly and Jordan in the backcourt in the last stages of the game Friday night. But Matthews,
well, he couldn't sit down Matthews.
Not at this particular point because he was on the drive.
Here's Dave Corzine looking on, one of the 2 Bulls with playoff experience, Greenwood being the other. I think we'll see Daly in before long.
I would think so. The other guy is Oldham, who played so well here today.
103.99 inside to Ricky Pierce. Missed an easy layup inside, and here comes Chicago to try to cut it to 2. 5:40 on the clock. Matthews running the show for Kevin Lockwood. Jordan outside, 9 on the 24-second clock. Caldwell Jones setting a screen. Jordan to Matthews, wide open for 3. Wide shot, and a loose ball foul. Called against Chicago.
Well, that's why Daly may be back in this ball game.
Daly scored 25 on Friday, but has only 8 points and has missed his last 8 shots in this game.
Well, that's the old theory. Do you go with your best or with the guy that's supposed to do something under strange conditions?
Cummings is foul going in, and a smart foul by Woolridge. For Milwaukee, Cummings and Lister have 4 for the Bucks.
Caldwell Jones is playing the center spot. He's got Alton, Lister, and Greenwood is still on Cummings. But it might benefit them to go the other way. As Caldwell Jones got the real intelligence not to make foolish fouls and knows when to play the man uptight and when to let him alone.
1 free throw, 5-point lead for Milwaukee. The biggest lead in the ball game, 6 points by the Bucks. It's been that close. Matthews penetrated. Under 5 minutes to play, 104-101.
That's Matthews' game, getting in the middle and putting it off the glass.
Jordan on pressing. Cummings. Pierce keeps it alive. Big basket for Milwaukee. You can't keep trading baskets, and that's what Chicago's faced with right here.
Well, they had to give 1 shot and get the rebound, and Pierce outdid that strategy.
4.5 running. Screen by Caldwell Jones. Jordan for 3. Greenwood kept it alive, but into the hands of Pressey. 5-point lead. Bucks can have their biggest lead if they get a basket. Moncrief. And he'll go to the line to shoot 2 and a chance to give Don Nelson's Bucks their biggest line.
A little up fake, and all of a sudden he heads to the hoop. Well, most coaches would say, why don't they pull it up and start and get a good shot? Sometimes it's better just to keep the heat on the defense and keep the motion going when you got players like Moncrief.
11 for 11 from the line for Sidney Moncrief, and the Bucks have their biggest lead, 7 points. Daly is in for offense for Kevin Lockery, and Ricky Pierce is blanketing him. Woolridge outside. It's a 5-point game. 22 for Woolridge, Tom.
Big shot by Woolridge.
Jordan is 26. He had 21 at the half. The Bucks have committed only 2 team fouls here in the 4th period. The Bulls are within 1 of the penalty. Pressey inside Cummings. And Caldwell Jones fouled him.
What a smart play by Pressey. On a penetration at 1-3-1, boy, he looked one way and dished it off to the wide open man. That's what makes Pressey so valuable.
4 on Caldwell Jones, and Cummings will shoot.
When you got hands like this waiting for passes underneath the basket, you get a lot of assists. Cummings got a good pair of hands to catch the ball.
There's Terry Cummings' wife. Bonnie Cummings cheering on her husband, who played at DePaul in Chicago and out to the West Coast and is now within 90 miles of where he played college ball, and will return to Chicago for Game 3 this week, but Wednesday night. 26 for Cummings. He leads Milwaukee. Woolridge. Drops for him. 3 minutes and 12 seconds to go. 110 to 105. And what Chicago needs, as you look at the timeout story, is defense here.
Is give him one shot and then get the rebound. Don't let him get two.
Lister into the ball game. Cummings. Tommy, they want to neutralize him, and they're not able to do it.
Well, it's that 1-3-1 defense. It's turning him loose, and the rest of the Bucks are finding him wide open underneath.
Jones, 3 in a row for Jones outside in this game.
We may see a little bit more of Caldwell Jones before this series is over. He's playing some kind of basketball here.
And he's the top scoring center in the game for the Chicago Bulls. Cummings will go to the line.
What a that has produced a couple of layups by this man, Terry Cummings. Perhaps the better thing for the Bulls to do is just dig in and play good man-to-man defense if possible.
A lot of people are glad that this franchise was kept here in Milwaukee. Herbert Cole bought the team from Jim Fitzgerald. Milwaukee has gone to the line 26 times, and they've been near perfect this half. Cummings has scored 9 of the last 11 points for the Milwaukee Bucks. That's when you want the points down the stretch.
You got to have a go-to man at the end of the ball game, and that's Terry Cummings.
Inside, Jordan is fouled and will go to the line.
That was pretty effective use of Jordan that last 2 minutes, 18 seconds.
Wes Matthews in the game. Jordan with only 5 points this half. One skill that they didn't realize was the ball handling skill. They thought he could shoot, but the ball handling aspect was something they really were impressed with, and they drafted him.
He thinks he still turns it over too many times.
Steal. Jordan, Oldham. Back to Jordan. And they call the offensive foul on Michael Jordan.
Wow. Is that right? I like to look at that a couple of times, and so would Kevin. It's not only to score, but it's perhaps to pick up a foul. And that's what Jordan was trying to do.
Trap is on. Winding down to 2 minutes to go. 114 to 109.
In the period.
Moncrief with Jordan on him. 10 on the shot clock. And the foul. No basket. Michael Jordan with his 5th personal foul. And that will send Moncrief to the line.
I'd say a couple of calls make a swing when it gets down to this period of the game. That Bulls are still in it, though. Moncrief has got to hit these couple.
20 seconds left. Philadelphia sailing along against the Washington Bullets. 76ers trying to get their act together before they get into the meat of the playoff schedule against these Milwaukee Bucks, and maybe later on the Boston Celtics if it goes that way.
Don't count these Bulls out. Wait till they get to Chicago.
I said it. Moncrief with the 2 free throws. He has 24 points in the ball game. Cummings with 30 leads the Bucks. 7-point lead. Woolridge. It's still Chicago. Daly has come in for Matthews. Final score, Philadelphia beats Washington to go 2 up. 1:42 remaining. 7-point lead. Lister blocks Woolridge. Cummings ahead of the field to Pressey. Timeout, Chicago. Center for two big games this week. And this series will go to Chicago, but the hand is for this man. 30 points for Terry Cummings, 16 in the fourth period. Chicago still maintains the ball. Coming up limping is Moncrief for the moment.
Well, Michael Jordan is shaking his head saying, hey, don't I get a foul? And I'm inclined to agree.
Caldwell Jones.
I was talking about Dick taking the good shots.
Jordan for three. Air ball, but Caldwell Jones lays it in. Michael Jordan has 28 in the ball game, but only 7 in the second half. Same kind of story for Michael in game number 1 Friday. Here's Cummings. Moncrief now. 118 to 111. 104 to go, and the Bucks will use as much of the clock as they can.
That's right, and that's what you're talking about, a smart team. But now the challenge is to come up with a good shot out of this to still maintain that good lead.
Pressey loses it, and it's a 3-on-1. Woolridge and Moncrief. Woolridge and Moncrief, and Woolridge wants to go after it.
There we're going to see. That is Wiley going in there. That was like the no layup rule we saw so much of in the playoffs last year, where don't let anybody get a layup, and Woolridge not having been in the playoffs last
line, 13 for 13. Now make it 14. Ed Rush getting an earful from Kevin Lockery now. This is playoff action here on CBS. Bulls try to steal the game on the road.
Well, they acquitted themselves pretty well here. This Milwaukee Bucks team played an excellent two-game series in this town. And the Bulls should not be discouraged going back to Chicago. They got to maintain their own turf. And they'll be back in it.
Moncrief. And a foul. Pierce will go to the line and shoot. So, playoff action continues on CBS. Home of the NBA playoffs. An exclusive home of the World Championship Series.
You know, Kevin's looking for an edge the last 45 seconds, so maybe he might get a three-point play on a missed shot, or, you know, an outside shot, or even a four-point play. When they take
out of the game here.
They absolutely have to score here. Yes, they do.
Michael Jordan with 30 in the game.
Putting a lot of pressure on now.
Moncrief gets it across to Cummings.
Foolish pass that time. That almost went out of bounds.
Pierce takes the shot. Foolish shot. Too many second shots for the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm sure Kevin will talk to his team.
Well, the Bucks should have just came right out of the game, I think.
Caldwell Jones fouled out.
Daly likes to get the ball on the move, and when you get the man on you when you receive the ball, he's right with you.
Story of the game, your eyes?
Well, I think the inside people, once again, of the Bulls did not produce as effectively as the big people right here, like Alton Lister, produced for the Bucks.
And will occur in the next series. 3 seconds to go, and Milwaukee will take a 2-0 series lead to Chicago on Wednesday night. We'll be back to the Milwaukee Arena in just a moment. Here at the Milwaukee Arena, Dick Stockton for Tom Heinsohn and Pat O'Brien saying so long from Milwaukee. The final score, the Bucks 122, the Chicago Bulls 115. Coming up next, final round coverage of the Heritage Golf Classic from Hilton Head. Be sure to join us next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern as coverage of the NBA playoffs continues on CBS Sports.